y'all, did you miss us? Even though we might be a little rusty and crusty, did you miss us the way we missed y'all? And have you caught up on season 7? And most importantly, are you ready for season 8? Well, if not, get there because we're talking about it after the break.
Brokers, welcome to another episode of Brokish, where we talk about the unbelievable ish this country has done to keep us broke. Now here are your hosts, Amber and Erika.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Hello, everybody. I'm Amber.
And I'm Erika.
And Brokish is back.
Brokish
Oh,
is back.
we still don't have a sound effects budget. I'm sorry, y'all.
Brokish is finally back. So everybody, I know that people have been asking Erika, where's Brokish? Where's Brokish? And really, the question should have been directed at Amber because I stay ready. Okay.
Wow.
And I have been ready to come back. But
Wow.
Amber's like, Erika, life has been lifing and I can't do the podcast and all of this. So I just want the record to reflect that I have been ready. I wanted to be back with you all. And Amber, I guess, had other things to do. I don't know. Maybe she'll tell us about it.
So we are 1 minute and 31 seconds in to season 8. And sis is already on her stuff. You see? And that's why, I be on here sometimes using expletives. You see what I'm saying? We trying to start a new season. And now she want to be messy. Y'all, I had a lot going on. Okay, y'all know I got 726 kids. We moved. Aha!
I know.
Office.
Look,
Aha!
look
Okay.
at this.
I'm out the closet. Yes. I'm out the closet.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing though, Amber. Like, we have been talking at some point. We were like, we should get a Patreon. And then here you come showing up with like this library, this study with like this library in the back of it. And like, who gonna support the mission?
It's giving well read. It's giving black rail red. Yes. We Patreon.
It's giving black bourgeoisie. And E. Franklin Frazier told us about y'all. That's I'm just saying that's what it's giving.
Y'all, we're not even 5 minutes in. You see what I'm saying? Do y'all see what I'm saying? This lady spent 3 seasons making fun of me because I was trapped in the closet. And now I done got delivered from the closet. And that lady say I'm black bourgeoisie because I got some wallpaper and some books.
Because I have a wall.
Girl, bye. Girl,
I have a wall.
She got a wall in an investment account. And
I got a wall
one
in my dining room. I don't have a library, a study, an office, none of that. But you know what, Amber? I don't want this to come across as hate because it's really not. So I'm very happy that you've moved into your new house.
I've moved, y'all. Listen, this house, that's part of the reason why we had to delay it. Child, we done had a fire, a flood. I was Job Isha for a little while, y'all. We had a whole ass skunk. Got in
She
the
has
house.
video footage.
It's been too much, okay? But we are finally moved in. We are finally settling, and it is so nice to be in one place and know, God willing, you're gonna be there for a while. So
I was starting to wonder if you were like favorite of the Lord because Amber, when you told us about the flood and the fire and then the skunk, I was like, Amber might want to work on her prayer life. I don't know. Like, she might want to ask her mama for some of that oil.
I did. I felt like my oil was expired. And listen, because this is brokish, I'm just gonna tell y'all, we had the hole in the ceiling because there was a leak internally inside the walls. And y'all, the man from the construction company came over here and said we left our water running and we did it on purpose. And then we had we had a lovely black designer, a lovely black general contractor who did all this work. The problem was we shouldn't have let the black people that was working in our house go to the bathroom without supervision. And I was like, but sir, we paid a lot of money for this house. Like, that's kind of how it works. People ought to be able to go pee without the downstairs ceiling falling in. And so, y'all, it's just, listen, when we tell you this stuff is all around you, it's all around you. But of course, your favorite ratchet lawyer got it taken care of. I made them pay me because that man came in my house without asking. Just decided to trespass in the year of our Lord 2023. So Big ups to the builder because I made them buy me a refrigerator. I made them give me $2,500 for walking in my house without asking. But I was starting to wonder the same thing, basically. I was. But we here now. We here now.
We are here. And I just, back to the Black bourgeoisie. This whole story is giving but it's fine, Amber. It's totally fine. Um, the brokers know that we want the soft life for everybody, right? Like not just you. So that's, liberation is coming for everybody, not just Amber, y'all. It's but so Amber,
What, Erica?
like
What?
it's literally been so long. I had to get on her early because I was like, do I even know what service we use for the podcast? And this is like not shade at you. All the rest of the stuff is shade at you, but literally I'm like, do I know the service that we use for the podcast anymore? Like, is my mic on? Does it
I
work?
believe her because I texted her just about 30 minutes ago and I was like, hey, is the link in the calendar invite? Is that the live link or is that because sometimes she'll just put a placeholder in there. She was like, it's supposed to be, I think so. And I'm like, oh,
Look,
okay. Okay.
I'm out here rusty. I had to like, shake it off. I had to like, I like you had to go find my brokish shirt because season 8. I had to go put it on. I had to, try to test everything. I still don't have my light right. Y'all see my son is kind of doing a weird thing. But I am very, very happy to be back though, Amber. It's been
I
a
am too.
year for
I
me. It's
know
been quite a year.
it's been a while, but I think that sometimes life conspires to put us exactly where we need to be when we need to be. So, at least for me, I needed a break. I needed to get my life together. And now we have time to come back and, live up to our little honors child. I be telling my kids, I'm a celebrity now. So you got to make an appointment to talk to me. I mean, I just feel like we have time now to really put our best foot forward. So I'm happy we took a break. I needed a break, child. I need a break.
So Amber, you talking about us being celebrities. It's some people that might not understand what you mean when you say that we are celebrities.
Well, I'm gonna tell your people to
Let's
call
talk
my
about
people. Okay, so I was on social media fast, and my line sister reached out to me and was like, "Congratulations!" And I was like, "For what?" And turns out, Brokish was featured on Black Enterprise as one of the top 9 Black wealth building podcasts. Now that title is slightly cringe to me, but
slightly.
nevertheless, slightly, slightly cringe, but nevertheless, it was such a good feeling to know that this work doesn't go unnoticed and that people are being blessed by it. Even if, we trying to set people free. We ain't trying to, teach you how to sell weight loss tea on Instagram. But we want black people to flourish at the end of the day. And so, yeah.
Amber, why don't you and I ever agree on anything? Like, I just, why don't we ever agree on anything?
So I want you to say out of your mouth right now. I feel like I'm finna go into lawyer mode. State on the record that you think we are a wealth building podcast. I want you to state that on the record in perpetuity. So if that's what you think we are, say it on the record for the people.
No, I'm saying absolutely we're not a wealth building podcast. And I think that part is clear. We are not a wealth building podcast. You said it was slightly cringe. For me, this is like super cringy.
Oh, okay.
And
It's you disagree about the level of cringe. Okay.
yes.
Okay.
And the reason is like in November, which is fast approaching, do you know we will have been doing this for 5 years? Like 5 years. There are
Holy.
very few things I have done for 5 years. Like that would have been about 4 companies for me to work at in 5 years. Anyway, and for us to be recognized by Black Enterprise, which is in and of itself, I'm gonna set that to the side for a second. But as a wealth building podcast, like, why don't nobody understand what we doing? I just feel like we keep doing it, but don't nobody understand what we're doing.
Well, one way I started looking at it, because here's the thing, because you got to be able to spin stuff. I'm a trial lawyer, that's what I do for a living. But to me, in some ways, maybe that's what we are because liberation, justice, the full flourishing of our people, I mean, yes, is
It's
that
a type of
it's a
wealth.
type of wealth. It's a type of wealth. And it's, to me, honestly, it's the most important type of wealth. And so to see our
But you know
people,
that's not what them people talking about.
I
You
know
know that's
that's
not what
not
them
what
people
they talking about, but I'm talking about, you know, trying to make lemons out of lemonade, and also helping people think about wealth in a new way, because y'all listen, these dollars ain't gonna save us, okay? These dollars ain't gonna save us. So listen, if we can do our little part to help people think about wealth in a different way, my living will not be in vain, like the old people say.
And I do appreciate that you always come with your glass half full. Like I think that's great. I love people like that. But me, I got a little bit sad. I mean, it's nice to be recognized, even if you're being recognized by Black enterprise, which personally I have some issues with the types of things and people that they highlight in general, right? Because I follow them on social media at least. And so I see some of the articles that they have. And, it feels to me very Black capitalism, very Black bourgeoisie, very all of that. So I'm like, I get it. It's nice for Black people, especially, to be like, hey, good job. But at the same time, I'm like, womp womp.
But listen, we done snuck in with the black capitalist. And you know what? Let me tell you something. I know I'm Baptist, but all things work together. Like, let some of them black capitalists accidentally turn on brokish and think they finna get, um, you know, Dave Ramsey with some bundles, and then walk away with walk away with a little tidbit that challenges how they think and challenges their conception of the purpose of money and finances and the systems that are literally beaten down on our backs. I mean, I
You're right.
I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing.
You're right. You don't think nothing is a bad thing, but you're right. You're right.
Well,
I'm with you when
listen,
you're right. I'm
listen,
with you when you're
negative
right.
Nancy. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't walk around, okay, with the fatalistic view, but I feel like at some point, in order for this work to really do what we hope it does, you can't keep preaching to the choir. So we got to eventually get an audience with the people who out here thinking that all they have to do is get out of the barrel instead of getting the hammer and helping us tear the barrel down. So we got to start talking to them anyway. So what better time than season 8?
You're right. You're right. So, Amber, I feel like we've spent a lot of time talking about you today. So,
I've been talked about. But yes, I was,
same
before I
difference.
could ask you how you was doing, tell you you had a beautiful little glow about you. Child, you started being messy so fast I didn't even get to ask.
Well, I'm glad you are now thinking about me and how I'm doing and brought it up. So, I am happy to go into some more detail. So, I think by now everybody knows I have been in school. So, I have finished my first full year, Amber. Okay. I'm very excited. I've been able to keep all my A's. I'm, I'm
Okay.
yes. Okay.
Yes, a honor
4.0.
roll. Oh, okay,
Yes.
yes.
I'm so excited about that. In a couple of weeks, I'm going to Philadelphia. I'm going to present at my first conference with a friend of mine.
Yes.
So I feel like a real grad student, right? I'm looking for coupons and stuff, and people are telling me how to save money and how to do Airbnb when you go to the conference, and like all the things are happening. I'm having a great time. I'm really enjoying school. It, it's been a challenge, but I'm enjoying it. But I also got a grant, which means that I'm going to be able to work on my research. Don't you like people outside of like academic spaces don't use the term, my research, but in academic space, people are always talking about their research. And I'm like, I don't really feel like I have research, but that's just what I'm supposed to say. So when you hear me say that, that's just, I don't know what that means yet, but just go along with it.
And
So
people
anyway,
outside of academic spaces also don't say grants. We say welfare. But anyway, keep going.
you know what? I'm not going to let you do this to me. I'm not going to let you do this to me.
Oh, I couldn't resist.
But anyway, so that means that instead of having to work my jobs that I was having to work before, now I can focus on my research. So I'm very, very pleased with that. And that also means I can really dig more deeply into this idea of financial literacy, but not in the ways that y'all think. It's not gonna be wealth building. Do you have a question?
Yeah, Tommy, you mentioned jobs. What jobs you got, Tommy? What job? What jobs you not working no
I
more,
said
Tommy?
I said I was able to get I don't have to work my jobs anymore that I
That's what
had.
I'm saying, Tommy. What jobs you was talking about?
I was like even right now I'm working. I'm a graduate assistant and a research assistant, Amber.
Oh, okay. I was confused. Okay. I'm listen. I'm again flourish, sis. I'm happy for you, and I'm very excited about your research. I just had a question.
And yeah, you just had a question. And I
Hmm.
don't even know if I've talked about this on the show, but we know Jared Ball, the myth and propaganda, Black buying power, brokish fave. He's probably been on the show more than anybody. Jared is actually on my committee. So he's on my grad school committee. I know. And again, I get so emotional when I think about like Twitter and I think about social media and just how I've been able to meet friends virtually. Because even you and I, we've seen each other more, but you know, a lot of our relationship is just through the podcast and like over WhatsApp. You know what I mean?
Facts.
And I'm just grateful for that community. So Jared is a part of that community. So he is helping me to think through these ideas. So that is fantastic. And I love that. And I'm just like at this point in my life where I really don't know where it's going. So it's a bit scary. At the same time, I'm just like, I'm directionless, but I
And
love it.
aren't you excited? I mean, because now you see stuff like Twitter, social media. Academia
Do
is
you mean to
so.
say X? Do you mean to say X?
I'm sorry, X.
I meant to
Yes,
say X.
X. But
Yeah.
academia is so powerful. And it's like 20, 25 years ago, professors were expected to stay in like dusty, dark offices with a bunch of books stacked up all around them. And now people who are academics are getting platforms to really influence people and do very powerful work. And I just think you might be directionless now, but girl, I just think the field is wide open for you. And it is going to be so amazing because people who are actually credentialed have the opportunity to reach the masses now. And that's very important because we got so
Uh,
many ignorant people out here.
Again, you are so glass half full because I'm just thinking, sure, in the past, you might have been in a dusty office, but while you were in that office, you had tenure. And now, like,
Well, well,
if you get a job, what you ain't got is tenure. So
well, that's true.
anyway,
That's true.
Imma stop. Imma stop. Imma start being more positive. But anyway, I'm just I don't know where it's going. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the grant and that my university thought enough of my work to want to fund it. That's exciting for me.
That's
Mhm.
awesome. That's
Yeah, yeah,
awesome.
yeah, yeah. And the other thing, and we both have some big milestones in terms of our kids. Like I have a middle schooler and a high schooler. And you, Amber,
Yes, child, I have a baby. We just got back yesterday, so we were at orientation. My son is leaving for college in like 27 days, but who's counting?
you know,
And
is it really 27 days? Or you just playing with us?
no, he's leaving in 27 days. He's yes.
So you are counting.
Yes.
Okay.
He's counting. He's the one who's counting. So he told me, I was like, dang, you counting, that hurt my
Is he so
feelings.
sick of your ass that he counting the days, Amber?
He is ready. And he got a bad move-in number because now everything is by lottery. So the move-in is by lottery.
Lottery. Lottery, is that what they told y'all?
Yes. So
Mhm.
his move-in date is August the 18th. And so that means of all of his friends here in town, he is the last one to leave. His little woman is leaving on the 9th. His best friend is leaving on the 12th. So he just feels so oppressed that he has to be here a whole like 11 days without his people. And I mean, he does not wish to be here with us, and that is really hurting my feelings. It really is.
So, and of course, I don't know, and you don't know because you've never been here. But do you feel like you're not, of course, empty nesting, but do you think that you're going to have this big hole now that he's gone? Or do you just figure like, I mean, was he always in the streets and outside anyway? So it's kind of like,
So it's weird because when graduation happened earlier this year in May, when we finally decided on a college, I was excited. You want to see, that's exactly what you want. You want to see your kids, and I tell him all the time, your wings work. So you want to see them using their wings. You want to see them. But as we
did
creep
you learn that from
closer,
Steve Harvey? Because I saw somewhere where he was telling people, he was telling his children that. I just didn't know you were a fan.
from Steve Harvey,
Yeah, he said that to his kids. So I didn't know if you were a
Steve
fan.
Harvey said what to his kids?
Your wings work. That's one of his motivational speeches he gives to his children. I was doing research. That's why I found out. So I didn't know why you found out because I didn't know you were a fan.
I
So
didn't
you might.
know Steve Harvey said that. It used to be on the wall in the college counseling office at Hockaday. So I don't know if it's worse that I got it from Hockaday or Steve Harvey, but
I'm like, oh, you got it from your prep school. Okay, I'm sorry. Go on.
I did. But as we get closer to the time for him to leave, I'm starting to get more and more in my feelings and more sad. Like we were at orientation and he ditched me, child. He
Oh, you
ditched
get
me.
sad now.
Yeah, so he ditched me at orientation, and I at one point I text him and I was like, "Hey, I'm on my way. I just grabbed my breakfast." And he was like, "Oh, you don't have to come. I'm fine." And I was like, I just okay. And I was just like, "Well, I mean, it's fine. I don't have to come. I'll just wait." But it's just like stuff like that that's just starting to make it feel a little real. It's coming, and he is ready. He is ready to go.
It sounds like it.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
hey, you know what? Um, God provides because look, he's leaving.
Y'all, I can't stop getting kids. So my bonus babies from Seattle are now here in Dallas full time. So we went from a house of we were having five in the summer and then three during the rest of the year, other than the holidays and stuff. And child, I got one out the door and two more in. So now we have four children who will be here after August. And I am officially my grandmother. I done started on the BC powder, and it's just pray
What
for
do you
me.
do with BC powder besides having a hangover? What?
Girl, BC powder, that headache that you get like right here when the kids it sound like horses above you. See, you only have two daughters who are very even keel, very sweet. You ain't never lived in the wild, wild west where, the guns come out, you just walk in, Nerf bullets hit you in the back. You never lived like that. So I'm just on my BC powder and my prayer. That's what I'm doing.
And what is it? Have you had all four yet this summer? Like, what is it like?
It's just madness. So what part of the challenge is getting everybody reoriented to a regular pattern because normally they're used to being here, in the summer on break. So things are a little lax. They're not used to, we don't do screens at that time. We don't do that. And so it's been a little challenging, but one thing that helps a lot is the kids actually they get along really well. They all equally don't like us. So in some ways that helps because they have their own rapport. But we gonna make it. We gonna make it. Listen, I am leaving some money on the table because sometimes I wake up and I'm like, somebody needs to see this because people think I'm lying. Like people need to really see that
We don't
these
need to
things.
see that. We don't need to see it.
We need to bear witness. We need to bear witness to the things that these children do to me. You know, but it's fine. I the Lord knows. So I take my comfort in that.
Well, I'm just glad that you're such a feminist, Amber, because what I what I know is not going to happen is that you're not going to blame your lack of availability on the kids, right? Like, you're not going to let motherhood stop you from doing the show and, like, helping Black people get free. Like, you're just not going to let that happen.
Oh,
So
what
I'm just
happened to
glad.
Erica? Is this Tom from HR? I mean, because this is definitely Tom from HR. 100% Tom from HR.
I'm just I'm just so happy to know that, you're invested in this and then you're not going to be distracted by what's happening over there at that house. Like, you're just not.
Said like somebody who thinks Black enterprise is super cringy.
But okay, Amber. And if y'all hadn't realized, we don't have nothing serious to talk about today. Okay, we're just back and we're just talking. That's what it is. We're catching up because we haven't talked. Because
Hey,
she is doing this social media fast. She claimed, and I don't even understand. Like, when people do social media fast, I don't understand what they're doing. I don't
you
know.
need to try it. So you need to try it seriously. So I did it for 30 days, and honestly, I was planning to do it for 60 days. And the only reason I came back is because of the whole Black enterprise thing. But I found
You
that
let Black Enterprise interrupt your fast.
okay, one good turn deserves another. That's true. I did. But I have found that it really, it, I recognize for myself at least, the fast was good because it helped me realize I need to put some boundaries around social media in my life. Like it definitely was
You got to
too
stop
soon.
sliding people's DMs. Like, what does that mean for you, Amber?
I'm a whole ass married woman, and this lady just accused me of sliding people's DMs. I mean, it is. Listen, Tom from HR is now, Kevin Samuels, but it's fine. She playing all the roles today. But I just realized, like, I want to, I've decided I want to be awake for 2 hours before I check my social media now, and I want to give myself my last 2 hours of the day without my social media. And then I haven't gotten to this part yet, but I want to pick like 1 or 2 days a week where it's just no social media every week moving forward. Because I just sometimes too much of a good thing can be too much of a good thing. So I just try it.
Well, my social media consumption is really strange because, yeah, some of y'all might know I don't even understand Instagram. Every single time I go to Instagram, like, for me to pull up this Instagram page, I had to, like, practice because I was like, I don't know how to do well. Like, where is the post? Because I don't do Instagram. Literally, do not understand it. So I'm not on there. Facebook, I'll just get on and just do like a, just to scroll because I'm not a poster. So I'm not posting anything. I'm not sharing anything. And then on X, which I'm not going to call it X because that's stupid. But anyway, so on Twitter, I do look at a lot of stuff, but a lot of stuff is like, not that I don't get caught up in all of the pop culture stuff of the day, because I do, right? Like, I get caught up in the memes and all that stuff like everybody else does. But a lot of it is legitimately like, I'm following some academic and I'm looking at some report and I'm getting some news and I'm like doing that kind of stuff. And from what I'm doing in school, like, and other places, I can't, like, it's just easier to go
Sure.
to Twitter and get the news than trying to curate that from all of these different spaces. So I literally don't know how do I do it except like close my eyes when it gets to like whatever the messy thing of the day is. But it's just very hard because it's so well integrated into my life. But not, yeah, you see what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think you're an outlier in that way. I think for a lot of us, the social media is much more gratuitous than it is informing and enriching. And so, at least for me, the guardrails I, are helpful just to protect your mind because you even as enlightened as you are, you fall into the trap of comparison. Oh, look at this person. Oh, this. I
I know,
I
look
need
at
to
those
be.
bookshelves and that wallpaper, and you just like, you want that for yourself. And you're like, gosh, I wish I had that.
Now, y'all, when we end up on the reboot of the Yonla Fix our podcast, just play this episode because y'all see I'm filled with the love of the
I
Lord
miss you so much,
and the
Amber. I
fruits
miss
of
you
the
so much.
spirit, and I'm finally out the closet, and it's
I'm happy for you. I'm
and
happy that you are not recording in the closet anymore.
you
I'm so
know,
happy for you.
because normally I have to log on like 30 minutes early. Amber, where's your light? You're dark. We can't hear you. Your internet's messed up. Now look, I'm basking in the sunshine, and
Looking good.
she can't stand it. She
She got
can't stand it.
summer braids
Girl, y'all,
ready.
I'm going on vacation tomorrow because
Where
going
you going?
to Dominican Republic with my man. We went on a vacation with the kids, but that is not a vacation when you have
That's a family
700
trip.
kids. That's a family trip. That's
Yeah,
exactly right.
that's not a
And
vacation.
my mama and my daddy went too. So
You
that
took
was
your mom
not.
and dad on vacation? That's so cute. I love it. I love that. My mother doesn't really like to travel, so I don't think it would happen, but I love that.
So we need a break, okay? Because that was not a vacation. That was a family trip. So yes, I'm leaving in the morning.
Now, I'm not gonna go on social media and see like your cheeks out, am I, Amber? Like,
Okay, so to be honest, the only reason you not is because when we was on the family trip, y'all, I fell down the stairs at the cabin and I got an old nasty bruise all on my backside. I mean, I just tumble like a Lifetime movie network role. So so that's like the only reason you not, because I got an old nasty AARP bruise all on my backside.
Amber.
Yes. And it's still there. I mean, we've been back like a week and it's still there. That's how bad I feel.
Wow. 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 Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy to know you're okay. And I'm actually happy to know I'm not going to be seeing your cheeks on vacation. I'm happy about that
I'm disappointed
also.
because you deserve that. You deserve that.
But we shouldn't leave the people with nothing. I feel like we can have some hot takes about some hot topics
Oh.
that have been happening in the news. Let the people hear us disagree like we do. Like,
I mean, listen, for the hot topics that we done talked about discussing, hopefully we don't have too much disagreement. I mean,
I know
it,
one where we're gonna have a disagreement. But anyway,
which one?
we'll get there. But let's
Okay.
talk about, I think, probably the even though I hear that she might be one of your sorority sisters, the elephant in the room. Um, what are your thoughts, or do you have thoughts about Carlee Russell and that situation?
Okay, so I'm gonna tell the people kind of what I told you in our, private chat. I always sort of, with regard to Carlee, exercised my God-given right to remain silent because the story never really sounded right to me. So I never posted anything about it from the beginning. It just, you know, with the work I do, I guess you get that spidey sense that the little hairs on the back of your neck stand up like something is just not right here. And that was just kind of always how I felt. But I'm not in the business of openly speculating about Black women's credibility because none of us need that. But I have to, if I'm just keeping it a buck, say I'm not surprised. It never made any sense to me because how a baby go missing and the only time we ever hear about the missing baby is in the context of you following the missing baby. Because it would seem to me that this will be the one time that a Black woman going missing will be amplified by national media because she was connected to a child. And so, because usually missing children, especially like toddlers, because that's such a rarity, the circumstances that were alleged, a child walking down a major highway, that's such a rarity that the fact that nobody was ever providing any details about this alleged missing child just never made sense to me. Now, of course, on the back end with this whole, this sets Black people back, child, listen, people are people. And one of the things that we have the right to be is people, flawed people, imperfect people, people who do stupid stuff, people who have mental health challenges, whatever. So, you know, I'm not about to even partake in this whole, well, this sets Black people back. Because I mean, we still looking for white women. And okay. So
Well, let me ask you this, and I know because you and I joke around a lot. I don't want this to come across the wrong way because I'm legitimately asking. How do we then reconcile the notion of believe black women when, like, how do we decide when we do or when we don't? Like in your case, is it that the lawyer in you was like, I've seen enough things and this just doesn't feel right. I don't know. So I'm gonna kind of sit back because you know you see that a lot, right, on social media and in general, like believe black women, and I get it. Um, and I just don't know what to do with that. I'm literally just asking because I've just been thinking about how do we deal with that? Does it matter, or do we always do it? Do like is it an uncritical thing?
So I think there's a two-part answer. So we're talking about a sort of a communal belief and then a systemic belief. And I had the same conversation when the whole situation with Jussie Smollett came up. Because you have to remember the first thing we need to be advocating for is a systemic belief. Like when issues of black people being in jeopardy, when issues of black people reporting criminal acts against themselves, black people being victimized, there there must be a systemic belief because the system has guardrails set up in place to weed out false complaints. So it's interesting to me that people sort of complain when situations like Carly Russell or Jussie Smollett come up, but that's actually an indicator that the system works, right? So, and I don't want to mean like I'm caping for the system, like the system works, but when you presumptively believe somebody, when you start an immediate investigation while the evidence is fresh, while people's memory is intact, while it's easy to do stuff like get phone records and GPS coordinates, that's the best chance you have of actually finding out what really happened. And that's ultimately the goal. And so we don't say that, oh well, these people are messing up the system. No, that's a good sign. That's exactly why you should presumptively believe somebody, because the longer you wait, the harder it is to gather evidence and make credible determinations, the harder it is to figure out exactly what happened and do a robust investigation. So I think that when stuff like this happens, it's a reminder to us that when we have a presumptive belief mindset, we have the greatest likelihood of getting to the truth of the matter. So that's that. And I don't think that's a hard thing. I think with the communal belief, like how we rally behind our people when stuff like this happens, I think it's more nuanced, but I think it's sort of along the same line. Like we have a right to sort of collectively be hurt, be angry, be frustrated by the emotional toll that somebody telling this type of lie has. But I think it can't be to the extent that it allows us to withhold that communal support, because what we showed is that when we amplify our own voices, when we sort of come and rally around each other, there is a power in that. And not just a power in like amplifying a media story, but a very real, tangible thing that you can feel, like Black people lifting each other up, supporting each other, using our meager resources. Like, I feel like it's the tale is old as time. We don't have much, but what we have, we put it all in the pot together. And look what happens. Because for better or for worse, we found this lady. And I would rather her be alive and troubled and a liar than dead because nobody went looking. So,
Well, and the part to the point of us rallying together, the part that for me was really sad and hurtful is those of us who have called and are still calling for her arrest. Like the people, the black people who are like, she needs to be arrested. Y'all need to put her away. And I'm like, wow, that's what we want. Like in all of this, again, I think people can, do we have a right to disappointment? I don't know, but whatever, I can see where people would be disappointed, but to feel like we want her to go to jail and be imprisoned for this, that part for me is really very telling and sad.
oh, and the pay the police back people. I'm like, Oh, she need to pay the police back. All these resources they wasted looking
Can
for
they
her.
can they pay for it with illegal forfeitures? They don't have the money from that?
I was like, now listen,
Y'all know how much the police steal?
I was like, so that's really the hill we want to die on? Did this woman need to pay the police back? I was like, now listen, I'm not down with the she need to go to jail people, but for whatever reason, they offend me less than the she need to pay the police back people. Because I'm like,
Amber,
no, I
how
understand.
did the go to jail people offend you less?
Because I feel like that's it is a less inflammatory thought to my soul because at least
Somebody being in jail?
I don't think she needs to go to jail. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there is a more like a there's a more logical linear thought like, oh, she broke the law, she needs to be punished. I don't agree with it, but the whole let's skip over and make her pay the police back, I'm like, oh, now ooh,
Well,
that's pay the police back for doing their job, like please stop.
well, to that point, I was talking to some people and it made me think, I'm like, for the because we were also talking about the pay the police back people. And I'm like, okay, she did something stupid. Just like the people who got in the submersible did something stupid. But y'all not asking for their estates to pay the Coast Guard
To pay
back.
the Coast Guard back.
Y'all not asking for their estates to be sued for the like presumably millions of dollars in resources and looking for these people for how many days because they did something stupid. Like it just, I don't know.
And that's where that offense rises up in me. Like, why are we paying the police back for doing their job when we funded it anyway? It is funded from
Overfunded.
tax. Yes, like stop. I can engage with the like, oh, she broke the law, she needs to be punished, people, because it's like, child,
Don't engage.
I can have that conversation like MHMR, like we need more resources to deal with that kind of stuff. But the pay the police back people, it feels like they lost. They a lost cause to me. That's,
You can't deal with them.
I
Okay. So, speaking of money, Amber,
can't.
everybody knows, well, not everybody, because I don't know. Some people gonna stop listening because we gonna say this. Because just people in YouTube comments always got some slick shit to say in the comments, and it gets on my nerves. So yes, I'm an AKA. Yes, Amber's an AKA. Okay, so say all the things y'all need to say about that. It is what it is. But Amber, as we say in my chapter, your sorrows, um, they done got a credit union, girl. So when are you signing up? What you doing, Amber? You gonna take your ample resources and put it in the credit union? Why are you? I'm asking you.
Because I still have questions. Again, I feel like I'm with the credit union at the same place I was with Carly Russell. I have questions because, listen, I love my sorority, like the old women say. But I have questions because, everybody said, like I asked you, I was like, where they was in line at? The sorority released their marketing tools because you was like, oh, it's a digital credit union. And it's like, well, where was they all standing in line at? So I'm not ready to do it at this time. Um, my $5 is not gonna help anything, but I just have some questions. Sincerely, just need to do a little more do a little
But
more
what
research.
questions do you have? This is Black
Where
Girl
was the
Magic. This
soror
is Black.
standing in line?
That's one
Where?
question. That's one question. This is Black Girl Magic. This is Black Excellence. This is how we free each other. This is By the Block. This is the first female owned, sorority owned Black credit union, Amber. And your only question is where were they in line?
Okay, so my real question is like why? Like why? I just uh,
Because don't you believe in Black wealth building? Black Enterprise said you do. Like, how are we going to build wealth if we don't have a credit union?
I'm trying so hard, Lord. Okay, so I think that this is one of those things that has a lot of glitz and glamour. And when you get the bone, it just ain't a lot of meat on it because when you look at just sort of the impact of Black banking institutions, just period, in the United States, it is
Where your
like,
magnifying glass? You need a magnifying glass to
I
see it.
mean, yeah, it's like if of all the things that we could try to do to make a significant impact in the financial world, that reverberates for Black people. I just feel like this is something that gets a lot of marketing, but just substance wise, I just don't think it's it. And the data tells us that there is an overwhelming likelihood that this is not going to be a successful venture.
Yeah, it's super performative. Like, I think that's clear. This is one of those instances for me where I have contradictions. And the contradictions for me are this. I used to work in the credit union industry. So even in terms of a small credit union, so I'm not talking about, but what's considered to be like a small credit union or kind of medium-ish, you need to have like $1 billion of assets under management, right? So I'm like, I can't wait to be able to see, because the NCUA like keeps records of all of these things. So we'll be able to see like how many assets they have under management. I just would love to see what that number is going to look like. But what I'm guessing is this is going to be like a micro credit union, right? Because Black people don't have any money. Even your Soros don't have no money. And so I, like you, just think it's performative. It's just so that we can say we did this and we're the first and look at us, but there is not going to be a real impact. And my key concern is actually, are they going to help to do the things that they talk about, like funding small businesses? Or are they going to make it easier for Black women to get loans to do the things that they talk about doing? And I don't know. But the contradiction is, will I get an account? Like, will I put in my $25 so I can have an account? Maybe my dues got so high, I need to make an account just so I can set some money to the side to be able to pay the damn dues. Like, I think I need to do that.
I just
But
want to stop being assist. Okay.
So I just, again, I hate to be a party pooper all the time, but as everybody was getting so excited and posting about this, I'm like, did Kamala put her money in? Kamala putting her money in? Is she doing that?
Do we want Kamala's money?
No, I'm just saying, like, they want Kamala money.
Well, you're right. You're right. You're right.
But yeah, is Kamala putting her little part, this NCUA insured, in there? So I don't know.
She waiting on Sora Michelle.
Yeah.
They gonna go together. They gonna take
they're gonna go together to the digital credit union.
They gonna get in the line. Yes.
Okay. But Black politicians are also having a time, Amber. Ooh, can we call him a politician? Is he a politician? Is he
I don't even know
academic?
what to call somebody who built their whole career as an academic contrarian and is now like, oh, hark, it's time for me to go mainstream.
We're talking about Cornel West, Dr. Cornel West, and he's running for president. So you're not taking his candidacy seriously, is what I'm hearing.
Well, in all fairness, none of the people who have announced are people whose candidacy I'm taking seriously. But I just, again, it's just one of those questions of like, why? Because you already know what you're doing more than anybody else. You are an academic, you know the numbers, you know that you are doing nothing meaningful, and you are adding no value to this race. Like, I don't even consider him in the same breath that I consider people like a Jesse Jackson, like a Shirley Chisholm, other Black people who have historically ran, who have some national appeal, who have some, even if it's just a modicum of political legitimacy to stand on in terms of justifying their presence in the race. To me, this is sort of like, the people who put like cranberries on a salad. It's like, why? It don't belong there. It don't belong. I mean, you can put it there, but it don't belong there.
As somebody who likes cranberries on salad, I'm going to say that I'm conflicted in some ways, Amber. And let me tell you why. So the first is, when Dr. West started running, he was running with one party. And then the people were like, Dr. West, we think some of those people could be fascists and have other issues like anti-Blackness and stuff. So you want to maybe rethink that. And then he was like, oh, maybe y'all right. So now I'm going to the Green Party. And my first thought was, I'm finna trust you to be president, and you don't have the wherewithal, the resources, the common sense to vet the people you finna run alongside. I should you be asking for my vote if you can't get this right? Okay, so let's put that to the side. But just as it relates to third party politics, I'm a proponent, right? Like, I do not like the two-party system. I think the whole vote blue no matter who is tired. I think Black people are sick of it. I think that Black people just leave national politics as a result of it. And I like when there are third parties there to elevate issues, to talk about things that would otherwise not be talked about. So I do not believe that the man will win, but I appreciate that he can do things like go on CNN and talk about Stop Cop City, whereas other candidates wouldn't do that. I appreciate that he might, although I have not seen him, be able to engage in a conversation about reparations. Not that I think it would happen, but I think that there are just certain conversations that this country needs to have. And I like when a third party candidate jumps in and can sort of get that going. But it's a very unserious endeavor. Like, I don't even feel like he knows what he has to do to get on the ballot in certain states. I don't think he knows he like passed the deadline and served. Like, it's just very unserious.
That's my problem, because then you have people like him and people start to attach the mockery to third parties as opposed to the potential of what viable third party candidates really can do, and the importance of knocking down this more racist or less racist two party system we have. So I agree with you. I firmly believe that a lot of our political salvation inside of this system, before we can tear it all down, is viable third parties and the emergence of another third party. But when you have people like Cornel West being the face of that, it trivializes it, and it makes it hard for people to take it seriously.
And I think you just don't like Christians. I think there's also that. But Amber, we've been on here a long time. Like, that's enough. I think we've done enough. But do you have something else? I shouldn't say we've done enough. I didn't ask you, because this is
No,
like a two-party system. So
it's fine. I mean, listen, everybody knows Beyonce, that I am Michelle, and I'm okay with that, because I love your light, Beyonce. But the only other thing that I just want to say is, we talk about all this crazy stuff. One thing that has just made my heart smile lately is
okay.
watching all of these Black female athletes flourish in the middle of the craziness. I love that Serena's pregnant. I love that Naomi Osaka has had a baby and she's ready to
She
come back to
did.
work. I love that Sha'Carri Richardson is running again, and
And winning.
winning. I listen, my heart. I played basketball in fourth grade till I got kicked off the team. But I love little Flau'jae and Angel Reese from LSU. I love to see these Black girls getting education, making their money, exploiting this
Uh-oh,
system while this
see?
system is
Are they
exploiting
exploiting the
them.
system? See?
I love it. So I just, if it's time to go, I want to go talking about how wonderful Black women are, because we are, and the world doesn't deserve us.
You're absolutely right. I know the world does not deserve me. Look, 100 times.
And she's so humble. I love that about my sis.
Yes. So, Amber, so we're moving into our new season. Honestly, I don't know what we're going to be talking about. I have some thoughts about things I do want to talk about that I'm interested in. Do you have any topics that you're interested in? Like, I'm super fascinated by what I think is this broken system of adoption. I would love to talk more about that. Like, what do you have in mind?
So some of the things, obviously my lens is framed by kind of what I do every day, but I'm looking forward to talking about y'all's trash ass Supreme Court, and this affirmative action decision and what it means or doesn't mean. I really think we have an opportunity to sort of dig deep and mine some stuff there, and even just the related things happening, like for example in Texas and Florida, where they are literally outlawing and illegalizing diversity
DEI?
initiatives. And so I'm just sort of, we talk about broken systems. I think one thing this season is going to give us an opportunity to do is discuss the fact that we are moving into a new phase where they are no longer interested in hiding it. It is coming to
Decorum is
them.
gone.
Yes, yes. And so I think a lot of the things we talked about in the past were to help people identify the insidious stuff. And so I think it'll be interesting talking this season about the stuff that they are literally doing right in front of our face.
Oh, so Amber, I'm excited that you mentioned those things. So our next show, you're gonna take the lead and talk to us about that?
I
Is that
mean,
the
let's go.
promise you're making?
I would not normally confess this otherwise because I don't ever want people to know how lame I am. But one of the things I have packed in my vacation bag is the SCOTUS opinion on the affirmative action case because I haven't had any time to read it. And so I am actually looking forward to reading it on the beach.
Oh, I love that for you.
And I am very excited. So I'll be ready when I get back, child, next week. Let's go.
Okay. So y'all, Amber doesn't have any homework for y'all because I've been in school and I'm tired of homework. So I'm just
Not Dwayne Wayne, not giving no homework, baby. What?
I am fatigued. You hear me?
But listen, actually, we do have a little bit of homework because one of the things that we want to do this year that we haven't done in past seasons is give you all an opportunity on the front end to tell us some stuff y'all want to talk about in this current season, as opposed to, oh, we want to take suggestions for next season. No. So, of course, the homework is always catch up, child. Catch up if you ain't caught up. But things that you want to talk about this season, what's going on around you, tell us, slide in the comments, send us a DM because
And
you
quit being
have
trolls in the comments. Tell
yes,
us what you want to hear. Like,
yes,
you don't
because you
like
have
me
an
doing it, tell us.
opportunity. Yes, yes, the opportunity is ripe. So please, that's the only homework. Say it to our face.
And did y'all hear Amber mention people going to her DMs? I just want y'all to know that. See, now y'all understand what I was alluding to at the top of the show. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. Y'all, I have truly missed the community of Brokish. I have missed getting told off in the comments. I have missed having regular check-in time with my friend Amber here. And honestly, I've just missed engaging with guests and learning new things. So I'm so excited about this season. I'm so excited. We are both so excited that you all are back with us and that y'all keep riding with us after all this time. And as much as there are times when I send notes to Amber and I'm like, I want to quit. And a lot of it is because, she hadn't showed up in so long, that every time I get renewed. And so I hope that we can all have something that helps us to get a sense of renewal, that makes us to want to keep going. Because shit is hard out here. Everything is high. Life does not seem to be getting any less challenging, but community is just how it all works. So I hope that we can keep leaning on, relying on each other, and just laughing through all the stuff that hurts a whole lot. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to catching up with you on the next episode of Brokish.
All right, good people. Thanks for listening to Brokish. For more episodes, visit us at brokish.com or subscribe, and Brokish will get direct deposited into your favorite podcast app on the 1st and 15th. Share Brokish with your friends and join the conversation on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Music for Brokish is Come Get Some by Blank and Kit. Until next time, goodbye and good luck.
They say when you wear Black Power Media gear, you can accomplish anything. You play any and every position. Coaching, to kicking, to receiving, to running and juking. And, oh my goodness, I see how to get in slow motion. Get off me. And you're going to have a lot of haters coming at you, but what you got to do is you got to shake them off, and get to your goal and accomplish it. And when that's done, it's a beautiful thing. I'm talking about going hard, extra, for that extra point. And when it's done beautifully, you talking about touchdown. Oh, and the crowd goes wild and they're celebrating with you and everything. Man, let's see that again. Nice.
Black Power Media, baby. That's how we do it.
Now go to blackpowermedia.org and get you some of that gear. Empower yourself today. Yep.